just found the low and went up to the hills and got next to. I didn't even know who y'all didn't even know who Pop was.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now, before we get into this video, make sure you check us out on Patreon at www.patreon.com/Hookah Anonymous _. You guys been telling us to create one for the longest, so we recently created a community where we will upload videos that we can't share on YouTube due to their guidelines. We'll also be dropping the latest to there first, behind the scenes information that you wouldn't find anywhere else on our socials. So make sure you become a member, and after you do that, head over to our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _ and follow us there. Now without further ado, let's get into what you guys came here to see. Now, for y'all that don't know what's going on by now, one of the guys who was suspected of taking the life of Brooklyn rapper Pop Smoke has been recently released after serving just 3 years in prison, which they called it juvenile life. Now the reason it was called juvenile life because when a young individual commits a crime and they're given a sentence where they have to complete the rest of their juvenile years behind bars, which is only up until 18 because the age 18 is when you're no longer considered a minor. At the time BLOCKSTAR allegedly took Pop Smoke's life, he was only 15. So this is why he was given only 4 years for his role in the incident. Now it's claimed that he was originally released in late 2023 and nobody knew of his release because it wasn't made public, and it was done that way because the courts and everyone feared for his life. They felt his safety was in jeopardy and felt that if people knew he was released, they would try to take his life as retaliation for Pop Smoke. So he was doing good under the radar and even stated that he had a job after being released. But it wasn't until his 21st birthday when he would post pictures to his IG story and they would go viral. After the world realized he was released and it went viral, his probation officer feared for his life and felt it would be a good idea to turn himself in to get him off the streets because she felt his life was in danger. He refused and ended up cutting off his ankle monitor and going on a run.
But just let me come pick you up and take you to Silmore so you can be safe. I'm scared for your safety, honestly.
Now, honestly speaking, if I was told to go back to jail for my quote-unquote safety, I probably would have did the same thing. For one, who wants to go back to jail if they didn't commit a crime? And two, jail could be just as dangerous as the streets, if not more. So going back to jail just doesn't make sense. After the situation, he would go to No Jumper and do an interview with Adam 22 and speak on the situation with Pop Smoke and how everything went the fatal night he was accused of taking Pop Smoke's life. Now, a lot of people have been giving Adam and No Jumper backlash for even interviewing him, stating that he shouldn't be given a platform because all he's known for is taking the life of a rapper. One user would say, quote, "I don't understand why this guy should be getting an interview." Then another user would say, quote, "Adam is a super culture vulture." While another user would say, quote, "This is pitiful, man. We really allowing these people to do our culture like that? Wow, unsubscribing." Now, I think at this point, we should all know that Adam really doesn't care about what's morally correct, especially in the culture. At the end of the day, he's going to do whatever gets views and attention, no matter what that may take. However, let's get into what the interview was actually about. Now, of course, 95 or maybe 98% of the interview was about Pop Smoke because the kid really don't have anything else to speak about. During the interview, he mentions that he's not sorry about nothing, even though he wishes it never happened. He just don't regret anything about that night. And for me, the weirdest part of the interview is that he speaks as if people are wrong for being mad at him for what he allegedly did. He acts like he's not accused of taking somebody's life while trying to rob them. Like the way he speaks as if he was defending himself and he did what he had to do, like he was the victim. You know, he speaks as if he was Pop Smoke and had to shoot someone and they lost their life instead of him trying to rob someone and took theirs. You know, let's say the shoe was on the other foot and Pop Smoke and his guys were trying to rob him and it went wrong and he had to shoot to take his life. Then that'd be a different story. However, he seems like he's mad that people are bashing him because he went to go rob this man and then it went left and he took his life. Now it's kind of interesting because if you pay attention to the interview, you could tell he may have some remorse, but he's trying to keep up an image to, I guess, his friends or the gang culture or the world, like he's some tough guy. Because 1 minute in the interview, he's saying he don't feel sorry, he don't regret anything, but in the next breath, he's saying he feels horrible, in the midst that he wrote the judge a letter, and as well as he wrote a letter to the family and so forth.
No, y'all won't. No, y'all won't. Bro, y'all is not even the real Hoover steppers for.
Now, when it comes to the interview, take everything with a grain of salt because he's not going to tell us everything. And I personally feel there's a few things that were false or just things that was left out. You also have to understand that whatever he says, he's going to be careful about it because he also still rep Hoover and he doesn't want to be seen as a snitch or someone that's telling too much of the business within the gang or street culture. Now, he said it was a robbery and nobody sent them. But that's false, and judging from how everything went down in the surveillance video we seen of how they entered the home, that tells us otherwise. Keep in mind when Adam asked him about how the address was leaked, he said he can't speak on that part because he don't know. Right? So clearly something isn't making sense. It's a bunch of houses. How did you know to go exactly to that one? Now, if he would have said that they followed him or something like that, then that would have been a different thing. But he said he couldn't speak on it, which tells us that 9 times out of 10, it was already given or gotten in some ill manner. Also, keep in mind that it was already put out there that the female that was there is the one that may have had a hand in setting everything up, allegedly, and Young Bird even mentioned her in his interview with DJ Academics.
Like that or whatever.
Yeah, they was gonna have you at gunpoint, try to rob you.
It's the same people that set up Pop Smoke. It's the same girl that set up Pop Smoke.
Now let's dissect this a little bit. Another interesting part is that it's been put out there that he is the one that took Pop Smoke's life. It's all over blogs, it's all in the news. That's basically why or how everyone even knows him. But for some reason, when Adam asks him if he was the shooter, he says, next question, he can't speak on it. Now that wouldn't make sense because clearly he did the time for it. He's going around doing interviews and acting like he's the one that did it. So why can't he answer a simple question about whether he was the shooter or not? Unless he wasn't. Now, if y'all remember, it was a rumor floating around that he wasn't even the one that actually shot Pop Smoke. At the time, he was only 15, so he was the one that took the rap for it because at a young age, even if he was convicted of it, it's not like they were going to give him life, which means that he will still see the light of day someday. Opposed to someone who's more older, especially if they already have a previous record, they can more than likely get natural life or a bunch of years in jail and never see the light of day. Now, this is a very common thing amongst guys in the street as well as gang culture, where they use younger guys to do the dirty work, being that they're young and don't have lengthy rap sheets. The mob often used the same strategy back in the day as well, while they used younger hitmen to carry out violent acts. So that part didn't make too much sense to me about him not being able to say whether he was a shooter or not, because he's already documented as the trigger man, so why can't he answer the question? Now, another part of the story that I always question myself personally was about how these guys were able to enter the house unfazed, no commotion or nothing, and be able to get to Pop Smoke to take his life. There's a part in the interview he claims he didn't know anyone was going to be home, and one of the reasons Pop Smoke was shot was because it was too much movement in the house. Now, for anybody that's been a part of the streets, y'all know you gotta be a real bold individual to go into someone else's house during an invasion and not know if someone's gonna be home or not. You could be the toughest guy in the world, you still have enough sense to know whether someone is there or not because you put yourself in danger going to someone's home without knowing if someone is present. And being in someone's home, you're already at a disadvantage. So it's like a double whammy. Now, this is another part that didn't make sense because more than likely, you're going to know or at least expect someone to be home, especially if it's a high profile rapper. And you definitely expect someone to be with them. But once again, you have to be bold to go into a place where a rapper is staying and not know who's in there at all. Then think about it. If he wasn't set up, how do they know the perfect time to come in? They claim he was in the shower when everything happened, so coincidentally, they just knew the perfect time to enter the home when he was in the shower, right? Then according to the surveillance, how is it that they managed to get inside the home with the back door being unlocked, no force, no nothing, and get past whoever was in the house before making their way to Pop Smoke? Right? So you mean to tell me they was able to get to Pop Smoke without encountering anybody and know exactly where he was in the house? It just doesn't make sense. They must have moved like mice, quiet as hell. Either that or they invisible. You know, now there's a bunch of stories that was put out there first, where the media said that Pop tried to run and he was shot in the back, then was kicked and spat on as they left. Let's not forget the story where they said that these guys got in through the second floor balcony straight into the bathroom where Pop Smoke was, and that's how they got him. You know, nothing just ever made sense about it. Down to when they told us that Pop Smoke was on the phone with a girl and the girl heard everything and called LA police all the way from New York. Remember that? Then once again, how was he on the phone if he was in the shower? So like I said, man, take this interview with a grain of salt. Usually when something is confusing and don't make sense, that's because there's usually a lie attached to it. You know, I personally don't believe what he's saying, and I think maybe he's just trying to profit off the little bit of clout and attention he's getting off the situation. But y'all go watch the interview and let us know what you guys think about it, man. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'ma keep on dropping. And I'm out. Are you tired of a bunch of social media gurus promising you results with their course, but all they do is take a bunch of information off YouTube and Google, then sell it to you? Well, look no further. Our YouTube Tips and Tricks Masterclass course comes equipped with SEO tips and tricks, along with methods we use to growth hack our YouTube channel. It also includes step-by-step ways to publish your video before uploading to guarantee a great SEO score. Therefore, your videos can rank and be shown to a bigger audience. Views and subscribers don't come by luck, and just how YouTube have an algorithm, you should have one as well that can guarantee you results. We doing websites and softwares we personally use to generate money creating faceless YouTube channels. If you also would like to skip the process and just buy other pre-built accounts, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook, we also threw that in there for you too. We went through trial and error, so you don't have to. Click the link in the description or the comments and get started today. Now back to the video.